Great. Hi, everyone. Let's just wait another minute or two. Any last joiners? Hello, good morning, good evening. Perfect. Okay. Well, hi, everyone. Let's get started. Welcome to Binance Live. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We have a really special group for you today. Just to kick it off, my name is Kirby Nardo. I'm on the global PR team at Binance. I'm really proud to work with the women I'm about to introduce you to. So today we have three of Binance's top female leaders in honor of International Women's Day. We actually have 4 countries represented right now, all around the world. And so we have 3 topics that we're going to cover today. One, we'll talk about the gender gap in crypto and Web3. These leaders will share some of their personal career experiences. And then we'll also take a look at what Binance is doing as part of our commitment to increase the number of women in Web3. And so please note, we will also have a live Q&A session towards the end of the live stream. So drop any questions you have in the chat, and then depending on time, we'll try and get to as many as we can. So without further ado, I would like to introduce today's panel. So first off, we have E, our co-founder, Chief Marketing Officer, and Head of Binance Labs. So thank you for joining. We have Helen Hai, she's Head of Binance Charity. Thank you, Helen. And Frida Vargas, she's the Country Manager for Mexico. So thank you guys so much for joining today. But let's start with E. I think when it comes to International Women's Day, there's probably no one better to discuss this than our co-founder. We recently reported that 5% of crypto founders at top crypto companies are women. So we're proud to say that E, who helped found Binance in 2017, makes us one of the only female-founded crypto companies in the world. So E, can you tell us what inspired you to pursue a career in Web3? And given it's International Women's Day, any lessons that you can share from your experience?
Hi everyone, this is Yi. I'm from Binance. Usually I just call myself Chief Customer Service Officer because I think our user is really, really important. I think in the same time, I'm really precious than here because I understand everyone joined the group, and that's not because of me. That's because I'm a part of Binance. You guys interested about why Binance is so successful, and you guys interested in how to run a big business in the world in the Web3. So from my personal background, I should say I'm not from a very fantastic education background. I'm from a poor family and a normal family. My mother and the father are both teachers. But I think the difference is when I first time know the Bitcoin, that's 2013. The Bitcoin price first time rise very fast. Then I know Bitcoin. In that moment, I really interesting about what is Bitcoin, why it's so popular. That's my first time know about what is money. As when we was children, and everyone tell money is important, you should really hardworking and earn money, have a better life, but no one tell what is money. That's my first time try to understand what is money, what is financial. For my background, I think for a lot of people, maybe you know that from very early stage, but for me, that's really as like open a new way for me. So that's really exciting me. I just feel if the internet build a very strong network for everyone, connect everyone, then definitely have a digital currency thing will help people connect each other. So that's one more reason to name me exciting about this industry. But in that moment, as you know, I was a TV hoster. You have a good working, and you have a very comfortable environment. But I decided to join to crypto industry. In that moment, only have a Bitcoin. And at that moment, just a Bitcoin price crash. At this moment, it's a big crash. You can say Bitcoin dead every day on the media, and everyone just tell you that's Ponzi scheme. But I just feel it's time to change, and I believe my research, and I want to do the choice. So I jumped to crypto industry. But I think that's a big choice, and that's a big challenge. So after 9 years, when we talk about that, everyone just feel, oh, you are really an early OG. But I think in that moment, that's true. We have a lot of OG, but doesn't have a lot of female OG. So I think I have a bigger learning is you don't need to care about too much people how to against you. You need to care about what is you are really want to achieve target. Yeah, that's my story. Thank you.
Thanks so much. It's really interesting to hear your perspective, and maybe you can give me some hosting tips later. Okay, I'd love to turn to Helen, head of Binance Charity. So, you know, in here. And so we know women comprise about 37% of crypto owners, education really being the key to growing that. And Binance Charity's work is so integral to that mission. So, Helen, what are the biggest challenges you think that women face in this industry? And what advice would you have to navigate those?
Thank you very much, Kirby. That's a great question. First of all, I think women are disproportionately affected by major social issues such as inequality and the lack of education. One of the biggest challenges today it is the access of education and closing the gender gap we see in society, and particularly in tech. In particular, there is a perception. Crypto literacy is a powerful tool to help narrow the gender gap. We believe education it is the critical path to ensure equal distribution of access of digital finance and a greater diversity of voicing and shaping its future. That's why Binance Charity has donated 2 million to fund over 36,000 dedicated Web3 scholarship for women in last year, and we will continue funding further programs, scholarships in this year with a focus on women, particularly underprivileged communities. And last year, the scholarship were awarded in women in Nigeria, Kenya, Brazil, Germany, France, South Africa, Australia, and Ukraine all over the world for them to empower them to study blockchain and crypto-related courses at universities, schools, and through nonprofit. In honor of the International Women's Day, Binance Charity will also make an additional donation of 100,000 to Georgia Innovation and Technological Agency to support Web3 education and training for women. This is just the beginning. We want to demonstrate women can actually do it. I want to quote something actually a famous actress, Audrey Hepburn, once said. She said, there's never the word of impossible. The word itself actually said, I am possible. And that's the thing we should believe in women. We are possible.
That's so inspiring, Helen. Thank you so much. That's great. I have a question for Frida, but before I get there, if anyone has any questions from the audience, please submit them now. We'd love to get to them in a few minutes. So Frida, what has your view on Binance and how they support women in tech? What's your experience been since you joined?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to tell the audience that Binance offers various early career programs, such as the Binance Accelerator Program, an undergraduate internship, which offers more access to careers in crypto for diverse talent. We also are making sure that during interviews, we are free of any biases, right? That's super important. It all starts from the interview process. And Binance has a 34% female employees currently, which is above the industry average for technology companies. So having said that, my experience has been great so far. The company also offers guidance and career advice for women through female mentorship programs. And you also have the formal and informal mentorship, right? So we're incentivizing constantly providing live feedback to our teams. We encourage them to get educational courses and lectures to share the industry experience and insights on how to break into a career in Web 3.0. And some news that I'm happy to share is that in February, we held our first Women in Crypto event in Dubai. And we brought together beginners and experienced female investors to share insights, network, and discuss the opportunities that Web 3.0 has to offer women globally. And we're actually having an event tomorrow in Mexico. So it's becoming a global movement and it's expanding. I'm happy to hear that as well. And we plan to build on this, at a regional, at an international level, bringing communities of women that are equipped to manage all aspects of Web 3.0. And finally, anyone that's interested in joining in our mission to increase the freedom of money and be part of an organization that values the important role women can play in shaping our future, you can check out our careers page. We're going to share the link right now in the channel. And please apply. Like, it doesn't matter that you are not savvy in crypto. Don't think that for a minute you need to be an expert to apply to Binance. I really encourage anyone to apply for a position here.
Thank you, Frida. Yes, join us. Thank you for sharing that link too, team. I'd like to take a question back to E. You've said in the past that I knew we had an opportunity to build a globally famous top-level company. So can you share a little bit more about founding the company 5 years ago and kind of what your goals for the company were then compared to what the company looks like today?
Actually, I should say it's totally matched my goal from the first year. Actually, I think we have a lot of funny story, but I think in that moment I have a bigger story. I think I don't have a lot of people know in that moment before I joined Binance. Actually, as an OG, I get a lot of offer. A lot of friends just tell me, we can help you raise money. That's in 2017. Especially if you did some good result and the community believe you, you are easy to raise money. So my friend just tell me, oh, the company market value, we can set up as a 100 million, and at least we can raise money as like a 15 million to you. Then we just get a 20%. That's a fee, service fee for them, and I will get a 40 million and begin to a new startup. But in that moment, when I talk with CZ, and I know CZ background, I know he's a strong leader, and he's really good at the tech, and his mindset is to have a strong vision and a mission for the world. But if I co-work with him, we definitely can use his skill and my skill match each other, build a truly global top-tier company. But if I just do a founder as a CEO, but I need to think, oh, who's my partner? I just raise money, but I didn't find the right business model. I didn't find my true target. So I rejected that and joined to Binance. So from the beginning, I definitely know I have some background at the marketing part and the exchange part. I know how to achieve the target. And for me, I think if I can build a global top-tier branding and really run very well, I will applaud that challenge. That's not just for money. That's just for what did you do in your life, in your whole life. So I think definitely we achieve a part of a target, but I think it's really in the early stage. Our industry, in fact, is still small. Even after 9 years, I still think that's really small industry. I think in the future, the whole industry maybe will rise 10 times, 100 times, and we have a big future. So focus about long-term solution, not just focus about the short time, some like get money, earn money. That just need you really earn some small money, but don't really build a big future. Yeah, that's a very interesting true, but that's not very public. But I think I have a lot of OG know about that.
Yeah, it's great to hear. Thank you. So I'd love to open it up to all three of you about just advice in general. So whether this is for first-time traders or any woman who's just looking to learn more about the space in general, do you guys have any advice, anything that we can share on someone who might want?
So from the advice part, I should say, from some angle, look at me, I'm not really fantastic, but I think if you wanna try to different challenge in your life, I can give you some advice. I think first part, I always said, don't limit yourself, because I think in this world, your family, your teacher, your boyfriend, your husband, your kids will define who are you. And everyone said if you as like a wife, you should go into which way. If you are a mother, you should go into which way. but no one tell you if you just want to do yourself, what should you do, right? So for this reason, I always try to push me broke some limited, and I always try some new challenge because I always believe if we believe we can deliver that, I will try my best. Even that not successful, but I know what did I did. So try your best, broke the limited. And the second part advice is, I think do something you really have passion. Because if you don't have passion, how can you continue spend more time do a lot of boring job? As a lot of people said, as a crypto industry is too much technical. I can understand about that. I'm not really interested about invest financial figure. I think if you are really understand the industry behind, that's a build a new world. That's about the whole world of financial freedom. And you know what do, you definitely will have a strong passion. So I think you need to do more stuff about you really have passion. At least for me, I think I have an opportunity to change the world. It's my truly passion. And the third part is keep open mind, because in this world, if even when I have kids, actually, I begin to do more education research, and I just feel if you look at the book and look at the system about the education, that's a very old style. Maybe the knowledge from 100 or 200 years ago, but this world is really changing very fast. So I deep think what is the education value? That's more about the push your kids keep open mindset and then learn new stuff. And when everyone just discuss about, why Binance doesn't spend so much budget to do sponsor, than to do so much advertising, why you guys focus about community? I think the bigger reason is we are much focused about who are Binance, and we deep think who is our clients and who's community. And we believe our choice because we do enough research. We keep learning, not just follow some traditional marketing style. We are not just follow some famous people give advice. We should know the new world and catch up with the new world. So that's my advice. Thank you.
Thanks, E. Thanks so much. Helen, do you have any advice to share?
I think it's great said what you just shared. I think to build on that, number one, after 4 years in Binance, number one thing I learned in this industry is opportunity don't create themselves. You actually create them. So I think with millions of, women, that's the thing is we're here actually to create the future together. But then the question is how? Being a woman actually was struggling with various roles. Being a daughter, sometimes a wife, a girlfriend, and then also there's a professional life. But there's only limited time in life. How actually to balance the family life, professional life, and then also our family roles together. So that actually, to be honest, I'm still in this journey learning. But one of the things, at least while I'm on this journey, one thing I find is very important. There is the ultimate, what each said is about finding your passion. What is passion? I think it's ultimately is the deep down happiness. It's not how other people look at you. It's nothing to do with fame, money. It's actually you need to deeply feel happy about and believing in what you do. And then in order to achieve that ultimate happiness, I believe there are 4 pillars in life. There's past, there's future, there's achievement and purpose. And most important, I think as a women, we all have past, future with various roles and a lot of achievement. Otherwise, we wouldn't sit here today. But sometimes we forgot a purpose. Purpose is a goal much bigger than ourselves. As I said, bigger than money, than fame. It's a goal we can pursue for the rest of our lives. One of the things I think for me today, being a mother of 2, I would say the thing I want to leave for my children is actually hard work, inspiration I want to live for them. That's actually a bigger purpose. How for myself, if For me, if I'm going to spend 8 hours away from my children, I need to convince myself something I'm doing something actually I feel happy about. And this is something I believe in the industry. We are building a future for the future generation. That's why I'm willing to making the sacrifice, not to spending the time with my children, spending focus on work to building for the customer, for the industry. So this is something I believe. I fundamentally believe everything happened in finance industry will actually happen on blockchain. And this is actually what CZ said is freedom of money. And we are still early builders and shapers. And I'm sure there's going to be great applications in 10, 20 years time, like what he said. But then as an early, shaper and builder, it's a lot of passion to work together. And also importantly, working with, inspiration people, he setting a great examples for women in Binance. A lot of us followed, and now we're having Frida, Kirby, more powerful women joining us. And I think working with powerful colleagues give us a lot of, courage and also passion working together. So that's the advice I would say, finding your true passion and finding the people you believe in, finding that kind of deeper down happiness for yourself.
Thank you, Helen. That's really inspiring. And we could probably do a whole live stream on working moms in crypto too. That's it's a lot, isn't it? Thank you so much. Frida, any advice can you share with us?
Sure. I want to echo what Helen said, that is find your tribe. There are so many communities out there of women empowering other women to join Web 3.0, where you can, start from scratch. You don't need to have a very advanced level of knowledge, and you don't need to come from a STEM background. So that's important. Find your community, find your tribe. They are emerging all over the world. The second one would be, don't be afraid to pivot on your career. I think you mentioned it, right? You transition from you being a television anchor and then transition into this industry. So don't be afraid. There's no limit in the age. Don't be limited from what you studied, your background. It doesn't define you as a human and as a professional. So, and the third one would be definitely try to fight the imposter syndrome, because a lot of women don't participate in panels, don't participate in forums because they believe they're experienced enough, or they don't have the technical knowledge. So don't be afraid to step up, to put yourself out in those forums, raise your hand to participate. That's definitely how we're going to get there. I don't know, I was reading an article yesterday, and one of the girls was saying, lose your ego. Yeah, go ahead and take that place. So that would be my third advice.
Lose the imposter syndrome is great. Thank you, Frida. That's great. So we had a really good answer, or good question come in from the audience that I'd love to open up. And E, I'm hoping you could answer this one first. How would you describe your leadership style? And do you think it needs to be different being a woman?
Actually, I think it's a very funny question for me for the leadership style. I think if you read a lot of successful female, or read out some article, they just tell you female have some advantage at manage team because you're good at communicate, you have a soft power. But I think from my angle, I think if you want not to be a strong leader, first of all, you should forget you are female. And because if you think, oh, I'm a female, and you will think, oh, I need to step back, I need to keep under table communicate, I need much soft. But for me, I think as a good leader, in fact, you should just focus a few part. First part, that's output focus. Because a lot of people good at manage, but not really focus about the output, that's result driven. I think then second part is you should focus about your organization health. And I spend a lot of time to do research, try to build a health organization. Finally, I find some answer. I think the first part is keep transparency. Because when your team enough transparency, and your team member will understand what they do, and then the people easy to argue, oh, I do more, but I get less salary or less bonus. Second part is make sure that's fair. And fear is hard because as a leader, it's hard to do some manage. A lot of people try to do up manage your image, manage your feeling. But I think you should make sure that the whole team is enough fair. In that moment, your team is enough transparent at the fair. Everyone will focus about their self-job, than to make a lot of shit in the group. So for this reason, my manage style is really very tough style. And this kind of tough, let's focus about output and focus about the organization health. As a company, I think I focus two parts. First part is financial health, because a lot of industry, their business model is different. It's an IPO model. You can raise a lot of money and build a big platform, have a lot of users, then have a day if you want to earn money, you can immediately earn money. So that's about your user size. And another type of company is focused about the health financial. But I think in Binance, we are much focused about ourselves. We are not prepared to IPO. So I care about the health financial. Then I focus about the health organization. So for this reason, if I feel some team member is not fit the two part, I will directly talk with them. And sometimes even our team members at the beginning not really know about me. They just feel she's too much aggressive or she's really too much direct. Is she have some positive or play game with me, but day by day they will understand. Actually, I focus about the staff, focus about the output. Then I have a personally problem with anyone. I think that's hard from the beginning. But day by day, your team member know your style. They will understand about that. So that's my manage style. And another part is very important is about the trading. I just feel for a big group, if you want to build a real green company and how to build a very health team, make sure the whole team don't have any issue because someone left. You should build a strong candidate in the group. You should train your team. I think one of the reasons is because my background is education background. So I always try to be a teacher or coach. And when I feel the whole team member is really grows very fast, can be a leader. And as my backup, I will very exciting about that. So that's my manager style. Thank you.
Thank you. Frida, what are your thoughts on leadership style and anything that you think we need to change or adjust as a woman?
Sure. What I've learned so far is leadership is a never-ending journey. So you're constantly there learning, failing, doing mistakes, and that kind of helps you to grow better as a human and as a leader. What I have identified, at least works for me, it's the concept of servant leadership. Like where it comes from a place from humbleness, when you let your team, come to the conclusions by themselves, when you empower them and when you delegate. And I don't think I was always like that, to be honest. Like I have to be very vulnerable. I was not always that type of leader. So it was through a process of adjustment where I came to this place, and I think that helps to build a lot of trust in your teams. Of course, you always have to keep in mind your North Stars, your OKRs, your KPIs, and follow them and make sure that you communicate them clearly. And also what I found is that, I think you mentioned it, being transparent to your teams, cascading information, repeating messages, and distilling them to all levels. I think it's important. And finally, I guess the hardest part of leadership is becoming a coach, like instead of, becoming the person who dictates or says what to do or, establishes the path, getting people to reach conclusions and define, what's better and be comfortable with the outcomes, even if it's, not a success outcome, and knowing that you have their back. I think that's the place where everyone wants to arrive at the end, and that takes a lot of assertiveness, a lot of patience, and I think it builds up also on how do you communicate and all those soft skills that have been always sometimes I think that women need to develop more. So yeah, I think that's so far what has worked for me.
Thank you. Helen, anything to add on your style?
Sure. I think competency and diligence are actually very important. I think in reality, a lot of people maybe go to a woman saying, you must be good, or you must be good at this, otherwise you wouldn't be in this position. To be honest, I think the answer from the women to that person should be, I'm not good. I'm actually super good at this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in this position. I mean, to be honest, a lot of women to be where we are, we put a lot of extra effort, professional effort to actually be able to do the job. So that's something is the hard reality, but I think it's good practice for us. I mean, that's one of the things, go back to what he said, be passionate about the subject, and then your willingness to put into it. And I think professionalism, diligence, and then independence is very important, in terms of leadership style. For me, the style is, I believe in the word, in the code, whether it's a black cat or white cat, as long as you catch the mouse, it's a good cat. I think that's my way of leadership. There's no right or wrong. There's different people have different kind of leadership. But the most important thing, we need to be able to perform, to do the job well, and then to be able to lead, to making the industry, to making the company prosper.
Well said. Okay, we have one more question from the audience. E, this one's for you. So your goals when you founded the company in 2017 came true. So where do you see yourself and the company in the next 5 or 10 years?
Actually, I think when I just joined to Binance, definitely my goal is wanna create a global top tier company, because I never do that. I wanna try. But I think with just a few months, we achieved the target. But in that moment, at the last 4-5 years, we can say Binance is day by day much stronger. We have some different rumor and thought in the community, but everything just led us much stronger every day. Day by day, I think when I think about after next 5 years or 10 years, I should very directly said, I have a target is manage out myself. That not because I'm wanna tired or rest or something. That's just because I wanna have a strong team, and everyone just said, we don't need you anymore. We are much stronger than you, and we have a better strategy. We have a better execution. Then we're still cheaper than you. Your salary is higher than us. So I think they can manage very well the company and make sure the whole team going to the next stage. That will not just because you have a one of strong leader or two of strong leader. You have a strong group, and that's my target. Because in my whole life, I don't think I still have a passion to create another startup. Definitely Binance is my whole life, majorly passion and the future. So for this reason, I think I will spend more time to training a strong team. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Okay, well, I think this is all the time that we have for today. So thank you, E, Helen, Frida. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your advice. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. We really appreciate the support and your interest. Happy International Women's Day to everyone, and we'll see you next time on Binance Live. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.